Deep down, you know it's a fact. You don't belong in your group of friends. Your family doesn't understand you. They think you're a risk taker. They say you're lost, out of touch, disconnected from reality. And for the longest time, people laughed at you. They whispered behind your back, smirked at your dreams, rolled their eyes when you spoke about your future. But you kept going. You kept believing. Why? Because you knew nothing external can defeat what's strong on the inside. They think you're someone with a stupid vision. They think you're chasing a fantasy. But what they don't understand is, you're not just chasing a dream, you're becoming it. See, the people around you were built for safety, for rules, for routines. You were built for more risk, more pressure, more impact. While they wait for opportunities to show up, you're out there building them. While they complain about the system, you're learning how to break through it. While they stay small to be accepted, you're expanding, no matter who walks away. Let them stare. Let them question you. Let them say, "Who do you think you are?" Because one day they'll say, "I always knew you had something in you." But they didn't. You did. You knew there was something inside of you that couldn't be explained. You knew you were wired differently. Your heart beats for purpose, not popularity. Your soul craves freedom, not approval. You walk into rooms and feel disconnected because you're not meant to fit. You're meant to lead. You feel drained around small talk, fake smiles, shallow goals because your spirit is hungry for something deeper. You're not weird. You're not broken. You're just ahead of your time. Listen closely. Don't let anyone convince you to water down who you are to make other people feel comfortable. Don't shrink your calling to match their convenience. You weren't built to blend in. You were built to stand out. And yes, it gets lonely. Yes, it gets heavy. Yes, you'll question yourself in the silence, in the rejection, in the waiting. But hear me now. The ones who are built different are always tested different. You're not crazy for wanting more. You're not wrong for being intense. You're not broken because you feel out of place. You're just becoming who you really are. And the journey isn't about getting them to understand you. It's about you understanding yourself deeply enough that their understanding is no longer required. Because once you own who you are, once you walk like you've got a vision too valuable to waste, once you talk like you know where you're headed even if nobody claps yet, you become unshakable. And that's what they fear, not your failure, but the day your results match the vision they once laughed at. So let them doubt. Let them leave. Let them mislabel you. Just don't you dare start doubting yourself. You didn't come this far to question what you know in your soul. You didn't survive everything just to start blending in now. No, for you, we're built different, and it's time you start walking like it. Number one, built different means thinking different. Being built different isn't about muscle. It's not about money. It's not about having flashy things or shouting your greatness. It's about how you think, the way you interpret problems, the way you respond to pressure, the way you carry your vision even when no one claps for it. When you're built different, your mind doesn't settle where others settle. Most people avoid the hard conversations, the risky decisions, the lonely moments. But you lean into them. Because you know pressure builds diamonds, not comfort. You see, average minds think survival. Built minds think expansion. Average minds avoid mistakes. Built minds learn from them. Average minds follow crowds. Built minds build paths. And here's the difference. When things fall apart for the average person, they quit. When things fall apart for you, you adapt. You observe. You adjust. You keep moving. Not because you're superhuman, but because you've trained your mind to think in solutions, not excuses. Most people see a closed door and stop. But if you're built different, you either find a key, kick the door down, or build your own damn door somewhere else. You don't wait for signs, you become the signal. That kind of thinking makes people uncomfortable. That's why they'll label you arrogant, obsessed, unrealistic. But let them. Because the same people who call you crazy now will call you genius later. You were built with a different blueprint. You were wired to think ahead, to think bigger, to think deeper. And it's that thinking that will separate you, not just from the crowd, but from the old version of you that almost settled. So if people don't get your mindset, don't shrink it, sharpen it, protect it, and keep growing it. Because the way you think determines the way you live. Number 2, built different means you don't wait, you create. Let me tell you something raw. If you're built different, you don't sit around waiting for life to hand you something. You don't wait for the perfect moment, the perfect mood, or someone's permission. You create the moment. You move anyway. Most people spend their whole lives waiting for confidence, waiting for support, waiting for motivation. But motivation is unreliable. Confidence is earned. And support? That's a bonus, not a necessity. You're not waiting. You're working. You're building when no one's watching. You're learning when everyone else is scrolling. You're taking shots in the dark with zero guarantees. Why? Because deep down, if you don't create your future, someone else will hand you theirs. And let me warn you, people love when you stay quiet, when you stay small. Because the moment you start acting like you're meant for more, the moment you stop asking for approval and start building with purpose, you disrupt everything they're comfortable with. Being built different means you don't just talk about ideas, you execute. You don't just post about grinding, you're actually doing it. You don't need to announce your every move because you're too busy making moves. And here's what separates you from the rest. You don't just work hard, you work relentlessly in silence. While others seek attention, you seek results. While others complain, you compete. While others talk about potential, you're building proof. Understand this. No one is coming to build the life you want. No one's handing you discipline. No one's handing you the vision already fulfilled. It's on you. And that's not pressure. It's power. Because when you realize you're the one who creates your future, you stop negotiating with procrastination, you stop entertaining people who slow you down, you stop waiting for someone to validate the very path you were born to walk alone. You're built different, so build different, speak less, execute more, and let your results make the noise. Number 3, built different means you keep going when others quit. There comes a point on every journey where most people stop. Not because they're not capable, but because they don't have the endurance. They want instant results, quick wins, applause at every step. But when you're built different, you don't stop just because it's hard. You don't quit just because it's quiet. You don't slow down just because no one's clapping. You keep going. You wake up tired, and you still grind. You get rejected, and you still rise. You fail publicly, and you still show up the next day like it never happened. Why? Because you've decided that you will not break. You've trained your spirit to withstand storms. Pain doesn't stop you, it sharpens you. While others see adversity as a wall, you see it as a test. Not a test of talent, a test of will. And let me be clear, being built different doesn't mean you don't feel pain. It doesn't mean you never cry, never doubt, never get hit hard. It means you keep moving anyway. You keep fighting, keep showing up, keep pushing, because you've burned the boats. You're not going back, you're not making excuses. You've committed to the mission no matter how many nights it costs you, no matter how many people walk away from you, no matter how long it takes. People wonder how you do it. They don't see the self-talk. They don't see the lonely nights. They don't see the mental battles you win every single day just to stay in the game. But that's the difference. You weren't built to stop. You weren't made to fold. You were built to finish. So keep moving when it's not fair. Keep showing up when it hurts. Keep grinding when it's quiet. Because the ones who endure the silence are the ones who earn the spotlight. And let's be honest, most people are built to start. You're built to finish. Number 4, built different means you don't need the crowd. You lead without it. Let's make something clear. If you're truly built different, you're going to walk alone. There will be seasons where no one texts you, where no one believes in you, where you look around and realize it's just you and the vision. And that's okay. Because when you're built to lead, you don't wait for the crowd to believe. You move before they get it. You build before they support it. You speak before they're ready to listen. Most people are addicted to followers. They can't make a move unless someone's clapping. But when you're built different, you lead from conviction, not from applause. You're not chasing attention. You're chasing alignment. You're not trying to fit in. You're trying to stand firm. And when you do that, don't be surprised when they call you distant. Don't be surprised when they say you've changed, because you have. You've outgrown their limitations. You've stopped dimming your light to protect their comfort. Let them talk. They don't know what it's like to carry a vision so strong it wakes you up at night. They don't know what it feels like to walk in faith when there's no proof, no map, no guarantees, but you do. Because leadership is lonely at first. You'll walk into rooms where no one understands your urgency, where no one sees the picture you see in your head, where no one claps and you still choose to deliver your best. That's what leaders do. They go first. They take the hits. They look crazy until the world catches up. So don't wait for the world to validate your purpose. Validate it with your actions. Don't wait for the masses to agree. Lead without them. Because when the vision is clear and the purpose is deep, you don't need the crowd. You become the example they follow later. Number 5, built different means discipline over emotion. Let's get one thing straight. Your feelings don't build your future. Your discipline does. When you're built different, you learn quickly that success isn't about how you feel. It's about what you do regardless of how you feel. Because there will be days when you're exhausted, days when the results are invisible, days when your mind says, just take it easy today. But built different people, they don't answer to their feelings, they answer to their standard. While others are stuck in emotional cycles, up when it's easy, down when it's tough, you stay consistent. Because you know momentum doesn't come from motivation, it comes from mastery. And mastery is born from doing the right thing long after the feeling has left you. Let's be real. Motivation is temporary. Emotion is inconsistent. But discipline? That's the foundation of everything. You don't skip the workout because you're tired. You don't ignore the grind because you're bored. You don't quit the mission because you're frustrated. You move forward anyway. And that's what separates you. Built different means you show up every day like it's the day that will make the difference. Because eventually, it will be. It's easy to be excited when everything's going your way, but true strength is built in the moments no one sees. The early mornings, the late nights, the lonely reps, the sacrifices no one claps for. The work you do in private becomes the life you live in public. So stop waiting to feel ready. Start showing up like it's already yours. Because when you lead with discipline, your vision becomes non-negotiable. You no longer ask yourself, should I? You remind yourself, I must. And that shift, that's where everything changes. Because while others are hoping, wishing, and pausing, you're out here moving. Built different means you do the work, even when no one's watching, even when it hurts, even when the fire fades, and that's exactly why you'll finish what they never started. Number 6. Built different means turning pain into power. You've been through things people will never understand. You've felt alone, underestimated, overlooked. But you never folded. You didn't break. You turned the pain into fuel. That's what it means to be built different. You don't just survive the struggle, you evolve through it. While others let pain harden them, you let it sharpen you. You use the betrayal to build boundaries. You use the loss to deepen your focus. You use the failure to become fearless. See, most people avoid discomfort. You embraced it. Because you knew pain isn't punishment, it's preparation. The nights you cried, they taught you resilience. The seasons of silence, they developed your patience. The closed doors, they forced you to knock harder, speak louder, stand taller. Built different means nothing you've been through gets wasted. You don't sit in self-pity. You rise, you reflect, and you rebuild stronger. You stopped asking, why is this happening to me? And started asking, what is this building in me? You stopped seeing pain as the end. You started seeing it as the birthplace of reinvention. Because here's the truth. The strongest version of you wasn't born in comfort. It was born in the fire, when you had nothing to lean on but your own will to keep going. When quitting would have been easy, but you stayed. They don't know the weight you've carried. They don't know the storms you've survived. They don't know what it took to stand here and still believe. But that's the thing about being built different. You're not here to prove them wrong. You're here to prove to yourself that nothing can stop you anymore. Pain gave you power. Disappointment gave you direction. And the struggle? It gave you the story worth telling. Now walk with that power. Because built different means everything that tried to break you just made you bulletproof. Number 7, built different means becoming who you were meant to be. At the end of the day, this isn't about being better than anyone else. This isn't about ego. It's about alignment, about becoming the version of you you were always meant to be, before life, opinions, and fear tried to shape you into someone smaller. Being built different means you're not here to fit into their blueprint. You're here to build your own, to rewrite the narrative, to break the cycle, to be the first in your family, your circle, your community to say, "It ends with me." You were chosen for more. That's why mediocrity makes you sick. That's why shallow goals never satisfy you. That's why you feel tension when you're not growing. Because deep down, you know there's a version of you that walks with peace, speaks with purpose, moves with power, and you're no longer willing to settle for anything less. Being built different means you stop hiding that version. You stop apologizing for your ambition. You stop asking for permission to think big. You start building like it's already yours. You start protecting your mind like your future depends on it, because it does. You start moving like your destiny is non-negotiable. And let me tell you something. You will lose people. You will confuse people. You will outgrow people. But that's not the loss. The real loss is betraying your potential just to be accepted by people going nowhere. You were never here to blend in. You were never meant to be understood by the crowd. You were meant to lead, to disrupt, to build what they said was impossible. So stop hesitating, stop dimming, stop delaying everything you've been through. It wasn't random. It was shaping you, stripping you, preparing you. And now, it's time to walk like you were built for this. Head high, vision clear, spirit unshakable. Because you're not becoming someone new. You're finally becoming who you've always been. So this world doesn't need more people blending in. It needs more people bold enough to walk in their truth. And that's you. You've always felt it. You've always known you were meant for more than the noise, the cycles, the comfort zones. So don't shrink now. Don't second guess the fire inside you just because the world around you doesn't get it. You were built different. So speak differently, move differently, walk like the future depends on it, because it does. You owe it to yourself to stop pretending you're average. You owe it to the people watching you to show them what's possible. You owe it to the younger version of you, the one who dreamed without limits, to become everything they needed. So from this moment forward, no more playing small, no more waiting to be chosen. You are already chosen.